misses through the 30-meter radius. But seeing that he's batting with someone who's rotating the strike very well, he's also going to be doing a similar role, which might put the Impala team slightly on the back foot on the power play, because you want one guy to become the aggressor and the other guy ensuring that he keeps rotating the strike.
Especially because you're only allowed to have two fielders outside the circle. And this being the fifth over that's just commenced. Oh, by the looks of things, the aggressor has been run out.
Exactly what I spoke about, that as soon as Liam rotates the strike, he's thinking, let's just keep on rotating. But Datswell was nice and alert there, and run out opportunity makes the batting team to be slightly on the back foot, because now they'll be a little bit fearful to take on the fielders moving forward.
Yeah. New batsman in. Looks like the captain for Limpopo, the Limpopo Impalas. We'll just confirm his shirt number, whether it is shirt number 10. And if it is shirt number 10, it would definitely be the captain. It is the captain, Ruan Hasbrook.
That's good. Good pronunciation.
Is that the way he's away? Oh, all right. Well, yeah, you've worked with him, so you would know.
I think the R there, you need to make more emphasis on the R. It's Harsbrook.
Hasbrook.
Yes.
All right. Captain Rian Harsbrook.
Ruan
Harsbrook. So the emphasis on the R in the first name. Ruan.
Harsbrook.
Coming in, and Eastern Storm getting 2 early wickets before the fifth over. Oh, sorry, in the fifth, as the fifth over starts. Well, looks like Liam has now decided, I've lost 2 partners. Best I go over the top and become the aggressor.
I think if you look at the way the Limpopo has just lost 2 wickets, I think it's smart batting from Liam, knowing that the new batsman needs to settle in a little bit. Maybe the first 4 or 5 balls, he will just settle himself down, and he's the one that needs to push the score or keep the scoreboard ticking, so that they don't score too less runs in the power play. You want to make sure you're getting 40 plus in that first 6 overs.
Rasamani coming in again. Liam Peters playing an aggressive cover drive, and the ball is stopped at extra cover. So, would that indicate that Liam Peters is a versatile batsman? Obviously came in with a plan. 2 quick wickets have fallen, and the plan has to change.
Yeah, I think what makes very good cricketers or world-class cricketers is their ability to adapt. Because you can come up with a plan, if it doesn't work, you must always have plan B, and you must still trust that plan B. And when you're able to execute with your plan B, it just shows that you've got good skills to be able to adapt to conditions, and that's what makes good first-class cricketers, the ability to adapt to different conditions. A batsman like Ruan Hasbrook is coming from Poch, played a little bit for the Northwest Dragons, and when there was the franchise system, played a little bit for the Lions as well. And now he just recently moved to Limpopo, and he's been doing well for the team. And I think it's part of that Limpopo success that they've had, where they've had one guy who just pulled through every game for them with a bat. And you need a little bit of that in T20 cricket, because a lot of guys say T20 cricket, if you have one guy batting at over number 15, 16, top order batter, it gives you a leeway of getting that good target. And as previously when I was on the commentary, I said when you're playing at Willowmoore, you want to make sure that you surpass that 165 mark, because that's a good score to have, but you got to make sure that you also bowl well up front.
So then you would say 165, 170 is a competitive score to defend, batting second.
Yes, depending on how your bowlers bowl in the power play as well. because that 165, I think it's a touch and go score. But in order for someone to be secured and ensuring that they're putting pressure on the batting team, maybe you want to go slightly above by 175, 180, just to ensure that you secure your bowlers to have enough runs to play with.
Indeed, change of bowling coming on from the northern end. I'll give you confirmation of who the bowler is.
Jersey number 30, Tula Ngobo.
Ngobo, indeed it is, coming on from the Kuruleni end. Done reasonably well for Eastern Storm, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he's done well. I think in the games that they've played, he's the leading wicket taker, who's got 6 wickets. And the best bowling figures he's had is 14 for 2. But he doesn't start very well. Starts with a long hop. And Liam Peters just put it away over mid-wicket for 4 runs. Good pressure from the batter, making sure that he doesn't let the new bowler settle. Because if you put a new bowler under pressure, he tends to try plan B and plan C, and he doesn't stick to the good plan. Good skill execution from him.
This is interesting from the previous game played here at Willowmoore Park, that Ngobo has come in second change from the northern end, the Ekurhuleni end, because last match he was the death bowler. He was used as the death bowler, a speciality that Mr. Kaur was telling me he's taken on as his role in the team.
Yeah, probably a different tactic that they're using because, like we said in the beginning, they want to make sure that they come up with a W here in order for them to qualify for the semi-final spot. So maybe bowling him up front because he's the leading wicket taker is just a tactic they have to ensure that they get more wickets slightly up front to put pressure on them on the middle period.
Indeed. And Easterns, well played. Ball going from the left-hander, bowling over the wicket to the batsman, Captain Ruana Hasbrook, and the ball going across him, and he just runs it down to short third man who's fielding on the boundary. But Easterns have played 5 matches, won 2, lost 3, and currently have 9 points on the board, where Limpopo Impalas have played 4. And again, bowls it short, outside, leg stump to the right-hander, and the umpire calls it wide. Yeah, Limpopo, having played 4 matches, have won 3. There was no results in the 4th match, or one of the 4 matches that they played, and they currently top Division 2, 14 points. And the net run rate, I'm going to ask Israel Tlangeni to explain for us.
At 0.667. It just shows that when they're winning their games, they're not winning by big margins yet. So that net run rate plays a massive role, knowing that in order for the teams to qualify for that 4th spot, you need to ensure that the points could be the same, but then the net run rate plays a massive role in terms of qualifying for that 4th spot. And that's where Easterns want to ensure that they improve on their net run rate so that they qualify for that 4th place.
So the first 2 come through. The first 4 play in the playoffs in order to qualify and gain promotion. But I was made to understand in Division 2 they calculate across all 3 formats.
Yeah, so they calculate all 3 formats, and with a point system, it looks like the Knights are the ones slightly ahead. With Northern Cape, they needed to be top of the log, and the Knights were not. I think with the Knights sitting bottom of the log for them to qualify for that promotion relegation system, and seeing that the Tuskers did well yesterday against the Lions, so it changes that whole equation a little bit slightly for that promotion relegation in terms of the logs.
Interesting point there, in that Division 1 still plays a role and would have some sort of impact on Division 2. in those particular playoffs as well.
Yeah, no, it does. It does play a massive role. I think it was something that we were discussing last night, that I think the Tuskers, having played 2 games less, and they're going to play against the Lions again, and it's the second win against the Lions, but at different formats as well. So it just changes that whole pool table slightly, where if the Tuskers keep winning, it just makes sure that it puts the Knights under pressure, because Limpopo being the leader in this Division 2, the Knights also have to win it for them to secure that promotion in terms of them playing back to Division 1.
There we go, and the change of bowler from the southern end, the captain has brought himself on, Shane Datswell. Right arm, fast medium, and immediately puts a ball in the arc. Batsman tries to hit it through and can only manage to get a single as the ball goes down to deep mid-on. Shane Datswell then coming in as the third change, for the Eastern Storm. And the current score is 32 for 2 after 6.1 overs bowled. Here the power play score was 31 for 2 after their 6 overs, and Liam Peters gets on the back foot. Datswell darting the ball short, and Peters pulls it through to the deep square boundary, and that is a longer boundary there because we're playing on the second pitch.
Yes, I think the tactic here to the left and ensuring that you bowl back of a length, and he's only playing to the long boundary to ensure that he doesn't just get a lot of fours, but if he wants to get boundaries, he has to risk it on the long boundary. So I think it's a good tactic from Shane Datswell to ensure that he comes around the wickets and angles the ball into the pads for Peters to play it on the onside. And I think it's important when you have fielders on the long boundary to have the best guys there, the quickest guys with the strongest arms, to save those doubles every now and then, because you don't want to be bowling 6 good balls and all of them go for doubles and you're going at 12 runs and over. So it's a very good tactic. Probably now with the right-hander, he's going to bowl nice and wide for him to also play on the long boundary or to the long boundary.
As you correctly described there, Peters was tempted to have a hoik at the third ball of the over, which was slightly short. He got on the back foot, and the ball just bounced about 5 or 10 meters from that fielder that's on the boundary. Captain to captain.
Yeah, I think exactly what I just touched on before the previous ball, that the right-hander will be looking to ensure that he maximizes on the short boundary, and Datswell is bowling nice and wide just to be hit through the offside, because Hasbrook, that first ball when he swung hard, he was looking to clear cow corner.
And that brings an end to Datswell's first over. Current score 45 for 2 Limpopo and Impalas are 45 for 2 after 7 overs, and the run rate we will give you shortly, at which Limpopo and Impala are scoring.
Looks like another change of bowling from the Ekurhuleni, and Luandre Leber comes back to get hit onto the long boundary with a spin. So Hasbrook has to make sure that when he takes him on, he has to middle most of the balls, because half decent hits will just get him dismissed. And good tactic from Hasbrook, seeing that the guys on the long boundary, they're nice and deep. He wanted to get a double, but Devan Postum was up to the game there.
And they only got one. So Liver coming on the northern end, the Ekurhuleni end, having opened the bowling from the southern end. So change of ends, bowling into the left-hander, bowls it full, and no run.
Yeah, I think the Limpopo team needs to up the tempo here, because the run rate has slowed down a little bit. I don't think they've scored any boundary in the last 3 overs.
No, indeed they hadn't.
Yeah, so in a T20 game, one of the things that they mentioned there is to ensure that you get 1 or 2 boundaries every over for you to keep that run rate on 8 to 9, so that you have a better finish right at the end with wickets in hand, obviously. Good bowling, Luandro Leba. He's bowling the ball, he's darting the ball into the wickets, just to ensure that the batters don't get underneath it and maximize on the runs, which is a good tactic as well.
Gee, had Liam Peters here at 6s and 7s there. He looked like he wanted to drive the ball, and the ball must have then cut.
No, I think pace variation there was crucial on that delivery. Probably Liam was expecting it nice and quick, but Liver I think he slowed it down slightly so that he doesn't get lined up by the batter. Because if you just bowl it up to the wickets one pace, it gets easier for the batters to adapt for it. And now the most important thing, I think, as a young spinner, or advice to young spinners, is pace variation plays a massive role in terms of not getting lined up by the batters. And for Liam Peters to get boundaries, he's going to be hitting against the spin. So it's a nice tactic to bring the off spinner to get hit with the spin to the long boundary.
Indeed. And at the end of that over, the 8th over, brought up the Limpopo Impalas 50. They're currently 50 for 2 after 8. So yeah, that then just calculating, they're 50 off 8. So they will be going about 6 runs and over then, plus minus.
Yeah, and I think one of the 2 guys needs to push the run rate slightly, because you don't want to put a lot of pressure and you dotting a lot of dots, and then you go out and that brings the new batter in and he gives himself 3 or 4 balls and that run rate goes further lower. I think it's quite an interesting tactic as well, that the Storms is playing 2 spinners and only 1 spinner has bowled 2 overs, and Tumelo Simelane has not bowled yet. Probably might be coming from Shane Dartswell's end. What's your thoughts about that?
On the southern end, yeah, I would, just looking at Liver, I would bring him on from the northern end. Well, obviously depending on whether the right or the left hander is playing, but then with the tactic of trying to get the batsman to hit in the longer boundary, whether it's a left or right hander. To the left hander, obviously it would be the offside, and that would force them to try hit inside out and go big over the cover boundary. To the right hander, have him squeeze him to try hit through Cow's corner or deep mid wicket or deep square leg.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Definitely that would be the plan for the Storms. And looking at the way things are going, the Limpopo Impala, they need quite a number of boundaries just to put the bowlers under pressure, because Dartswell, I think, has bowled 2 overs and he's not considered any boundary. And Liba's second over also didn't consider any boundary.
And as he bowls his last ball there, he's gone in his 2 overs, he's gone for 13 runs. He's gone for 13 runs and yeah, not conceded a boundary at all. Yet.
Yeah, no, I think it's something that a lot of teams, if you look at it now, I think how many overs gone? 9 overs gone.
9 overs gone. 56 for 2 is the score.
Yeah, if you got 8 wickets in hand and you just want to make sure that you get a big match-winning target, in that middle overs period, a lot of teams that don't get boundaries they tend to lose that whole momentum.
Yes.
Because if you just think about it, the first over went for 13, second over it was 9 runs, and they were well ahead of that run rate. But then when they lost the wickets, the new batters tend to slow down the run rate a little bit. But it's important to keep that momentum going.
Indeed it does, and we don't have the privilege of having our scoreboard in working order at the moment because experiencing load shedding. But as soon as that comes up, we'll be able to look at the net run rate and the overall run rate that the Limpopo Impalas are scoring at the moment. Right now, yeah, it does seem like a very dull match, and that for a T20. Fireworks, and as I say that, Liam Peters,
Beautiful catch.
brilliantly caught by Visser on the deep mid-off boundary for Liam Peters, and he's annoyed with himself. Hits his pads with his bat as he walks off.
I think it's something that I exactly spoke about previously.
That trap.
Yeah, that trap. You
Yep.
don't want to consider too many dots, and then you lose a wicket, and the next batsman comes in, takes 3-4 balls to set themselves up, and that kills the batting run rate. So I think one thing that has to happen now is the next coming batsman, they need to rotate strike from the word go. Make sure they're striking at 100%, and then as soon as they get to settle in, they need to push that momentum.
Indeed. Number 7 comes in, Daniel van der Merwe. From our team sheet over here, it seems like the coach has decided, no, run rate, as you correctly indicated, is not what it should be, and we need to amass runs in order to have Eastern Storm chase a good total. Again, yeah, 165 is what your prediction is, and you would probably know this area a lot better, and particularly on this field. 165, 170.
Yeah, I think that 170, it just makes the bowlers to bowl with a little bit of confidence, knowing that there's something behind the run rate there. But the most important thing as well, just a little bit of awareness that I've seen. A left-hander goes out and another left-hander comes in. So they're trying to keep that left-right combination as well.
Oh, so that would have forced the change from the team sheet that we have.
Probably.
Right.
Probably.
Good thinking. Good awareness there.
Beautiful start there. Beautiful straight drive to long off. And Van der Merwe just exactly what I spoke about. As you get yourself in T20 cricket, you just need to run a ball, and then you can up the tempo slightly, maybe after 5-6 balls, then you can start pushing the run rate. The first over he considered 13 runs. I think that's a bit of a good comeback, but I think it's a little bit poor fielding or a little bit of poor awareness there by, I think it's Mark Pierce on that sweeper boundary. That misfield just made the batting team to be right ahead on the third ball where they considered a boundary. And how many runs considered on that last over? I think it's about two boundaries,
Yeah.
two boundaries with a double. I think it's about 11-12
11.
runs on that last over.
Change of bowler. The other spinner in the side, is it Trula?
No, that's Tumelo Simelane, the left-arm spinner that I spoke about that hadn't bowled yet. First ball he gets put away for a
Maximum.
big six. Big six to the long boundary. And I think that deep square, if he was on the boundary, he would have caught that. But probably with him being 10 off the boundary, that considered him not being able to stop that ball.
Spot on there, Israel, because had he been on the boundary, the ball had just cleared the boundary rope. So had he been on the boundary, he would have comfortably caught it just above his chest.
Looks like they're going to take Simelane on now. 2 balls, 7 runs. Let's see how he comes back.
And he has a field waiting exactly for that. He's got a deep mid-on, deep mid wicket as well as deep square leg for the right-hander.
I don't think it's a nice time to come into the attack when like it's 11 overs been bowled already, and he knows that they're gonna take him on. Beautiful shot by Hasbrook, clears that extra cover region, inside out over extra cover. Beautiful execution. Simelane bowls. Four balls, 2 maximums, 1 double and a single. So already 15 runs in 4 balls. That puts him under big pressure. Let's see how he closes the over.
Left arm around the wicket to the right hander, puts it just outside off, and they just get a single. I would say it's a good time to be coming on because you know the batsmen are going to take their chances. They will try and maximise. Sorry, it was the second last ball that Simelane bowled. This being his last ball to the left-hander, bowling left arm around the wicket. Would you have gone around the wicket to a lefty?
Nah, definitely not. I think it depends on what the bowlers are comfortable with, because it's a new tactic that a lot of left-armers bowling to lefties, that if I come over the wickets and I bowl my normal line and length on 4th stump spinning into the wickets, I'm opening up that cow corner. So they're trying to make sure that if it doesn't spin, like I mentioned when Libba came around to the right-hander, that the ball angles across, and if you go cow corner, you get a leading edge.
Brilliant, yeah. Simelane's first over went for all of 17 runs.
Okay, another change of bowling from the Ekurhuleni end. It's the captain who brings himself on. I think that's 1 over for him. He's going to close up from the Ekurhuleni end.
Yeah, Shane Datswell coming on and bowling the ball just outside, or probably 6 or 7 stump outside the off stump, and the batsman swings and misses.
I think he's going to do the same thing that he did from the other end, where he knows he's going to get lined up into the short boundary, so he's going to bowl nice and wide. Let's see if Van der Merwe is also going to put him under pressure by bisecting that point region.
Ball slightly stuck on the wicket, and the left-hander Van der Merwe hits through the covers over the circle. I think Datswell, as you rightfully pointed out, has certainly seen the longer boundary, or the shorter boundary, closer to both the batsmen. And he has both boundary fielders on the ropes, because the boundary is obviously a lot shorter on this end. And that single brings up the 100 for Limpopo Impalas. 100 in 3 overs, where they were 50 up after 9. So that's 4 overs. They scored another 50 runs. And by the sounds of things, I think we should have electricity back. No, not yet. Oh, Van der Merwe goes for the big swing.
I think he missed out there.
Definitely. Ball was outside his off stump, but eventually cross batted that, and the ball going to the square leg as Shane Datswell comes in once more on his second last ball, his penultimate ball of his spell. Bowled reasonably well, Shane Datswell has, only going at 6.82.
Yeah, no, I think his skill execution has been on point, and he knows that the batters are looking for some pace to play with, and he's been utilizing those variations very well, mixing it up nicely.
Oh, slower ball once more. Not quite to the liking of the batsman, and that ends Shane Datswell's allocated 4 overs, 4 for 26, not taking wicket. 4 for 26 in his overs, and after 14 overs, Limpopo Impalas are 102 for 3.
Yeah, I think,
To the batsman to take advantage, and as we say that, Noble goes full as
Hasbrook.
Darts towards him and tries to hit the ball before it bounces and gets underneath the ball. The ball just goes over the infield and just short of a boundary as the fielder was able to cart it in. And their partnership currently on 49. Noble going across Hasbrook, and Hasbrook moving across or stepping across, trying to play the ball to the shorter boundary on his onside, his leg side.
I think that's good thinking from Hasbrook, knowing that he's going to be darting Yorkers into the toes. He's playing the conventional slog sweep, and if Noble misses his length, he's going to be hit over square leg for boundaries, and he knows that. Good execution as Hasbrook goes across, and Noble follows him further across so that he doesn't get hit over that square leg region, because Hasbrook was looking for that conventional slog sweep. And good skill execution from the bowlers. At the end of 15 overs, the Limpopo Impala sitting on 107 for the loss of 3 wickets. I think, what's your prediction? Last 5 overs, how many runs will they be looking at?
Well, they got wickets in hand. I would say that they should go attacking it, because they're well behind the 8th ball in terms of run rate. Not a big predictor, because this is a funny game. Cricket is. All sorts of things could possibly happen. Doubt sets in as wickets fall, etc., etc. But I think these two batsmen are now settled, and they should take it on. So my prediction would be looking to score another 40 odd runs, get them to 150, and then from there, in the remaining 5 overs, then look at upping that run rate, which is currently 7.1.
Yeah, I think I would be looking at minimum of 10 per over. Bat on ball, we're rotating the strike, and every time they miss the mark, we're getting boundaries. 10 and over will get them close to that 160 mark. So it's something that they should be looking at. Good awareness from Hasbrook, knowing that Van der Merwe is going to be taking on the short boundary. So he doesn't want to risk and take on Posthumus into the long boundary. I think Posthumus as well, he has to be aware of how wisely he's going to utilize his short ball, because I know he likes bowling quick bumpers or surprising the batters with a short one, but he has to make sure it's above shoulder, because if it just becomes a short ball, Van der Merwe is going to be on the money, and he just has to have a half decent hit to get that maximum.
There seems to be a breeze coming across from the western end, or rather from the eastern end to the west, looking at the players' shirts. And interesting shot. Yeah, he was waiting for that on the back foot, and Posthumus pitches it short, well, just short of a length, and the ball goes through to the wicket keeper, and we back in business with electricity.
Eskom is becoming Eskom, as we know.
Ish, go.
Good shot by Van der Merwe into the extra cover region for a single. But if you look at that field, change of field after that first ball, Posthumus had long off back and he got square leg up. So knowing that with that kind of field, you don't want to get hit square onto the onside. So that's well bowled by him.
It's good thinking. It's good awareness. As a high performance coach, Israel Sangeni, is that what you would be imparting onto the fielders, onto the bowlers, as the fielder misfields there, but recovers very quickly before the batsman could go for a second run?
Yeah, I think the fielders need to have a little bit of better awareness in terms of, if I'm fielding in the inner circle to the long boundary, I can afford to come in slightly in to save that extra single. Good bowling by Posthumus as Van der Merwe goes for that big slog sweep, and he gets nicked off straight to the wicket keeper. Another wicket loss by the Limpopo Impala, which might put them under a little bit of pressure, because they were trying to push the run rate on the 16th over, and they lose the 4th wicket.
Daniel van der Merwe scoring 20 runs, having faced 17 balls and hit one massive 6 and just 1 4 in his 24-minute stay out there. So left-hander gone. Do you think they would still employ the same tactics of going left-right hand combination out in the middle for the last 5?
No, I doubt it. I don't think there's another lefty, because the only batter I think that bats left-handed is the left-arm orthodox, and he's a tail-ender. So they're not going to risk that. I think they're going to put in Monet Venter, because he's been their anchor there in the middle of the innings, and he's been a consistent performer for them.
And it is Monet Venter, Israel.
Yeah, I know this players very well.
There we go.
Yeah, Monet Venter, I think he's one of the good all-rounders that has been consistent for the Limpopo Impala team, where last season he saved them in a lot of matches, especially the 4-day stuff, and he scored, I think, 100 towards the end of the season. And this year, alone in the 4-day competition, I think he got his second first-class 100. So he's a solid all-rounder. Bats and bowls very well, medium pacer, and he bats nice and deep. But it's going to be interesting to see the tempo of which he's going to implement his innings today.
He wears shirt number 120, which is rather strange. Oh, and Posthumus surprises him with a short ball and gets him out first ball.
That's exactly what I spoke about. First ball policy, it's either you go for the toes or you go for the helmet. So good first ball policy. Fenter was not expecting that. And it's also good thinking that if he took him on, it was going to take him on onto the long boundary as well. So good skill execution by Devon Postumus to surprise Mone Fenter on the first ball there.
I would venture to say that ball rose off a good length, and that probably surprised the batsman even more, having caught him. Khadisa Mulife seems to be the next batsman in. Wearing shirt number Mushwana is the new batsman in, not Khadisa. Wisani Mushwana. Wisani Mushwana is the new batsman in. Do you think Postumus is going to surprise him as well? He's a bit shorter than Morne Fenter.
No, I think it's the end of the over, so it's a little bit lucky now because he's at the non-striker's end. As Tulang Noble comes back, I think it's for his third over, or is it his third over there?
No, he's only bowled 2.
Yeah,
so
coming for his third over.
correct.
And Hasbrook is the one strike. I think Postumus would have done the same, or maybe knowing that the batter might have been expecting the short bumper, he would go nice and full, straight wicket to wicket for that LBW or bold dismissal.
Hasbrook, the captain of Limpopo Impalas, is on 42, enjoying a very comfortable strike rate of 119, 120, having faced 36 balls. Noble into Hasbrook. Again, he goes across. Is he looking to capitalize on the shorter boundary on the cow end?
Yeah, I think it's exactly what we spoke about previously, where Tula was trying to bowl that Yorker and it was a low full toss that went over square leg for the double. So I think Hasbrook must just have plan B here to say Tula Ngobo knows that he just wants to hit over square leg or cow corner region. So he must be ready to hit a couple of balls on the offside. Okay, as Tula Ngobo bowls his second ball too wide, white ball is called, and that might put him under pressure now. I think what Hasbrook should be doing here is there's a short third man up in the circle with a deep point and a conventional deep extra cover with a cover point in the circle. Quite a strange field to have as well there. What's your thoughts about that field?
For the left-hander, because he's coming across, making sure he covers all particular areas, and should the batsman take a risk, it wouldn't go for a boundary on his offside, on the batsman's offside.
No, I think my question was rather on, normally you would have extra cover, maybe with a third man, but there it was a backward point on the boundary, deep backward point, and an extra cover right and square of the wicket. But I think that plan from Tula Ngobo or the Eastern Storms, I think they understand maybe how this field plays, so it's good execution from him, or good thinking as well.
And because he would be coming across the right-hander, just like that ball pitches on middle, and the new batsman Mushwana just takes a quick single and gets off the mark and rotates a strike.
I think a little bit of poor awareness there from the Storms, knowing that the new batsman is just going to look to rotate the strike. They should have been slightly tighter on the single there just to win 1 or 2 dots before he can get off the mark.
Agreed. Nobo coming in for his 4th ball, or his 3rd over, and Swartbrook goes across,
Gets bowled, but it's a no ball.
and Shane Datchell falls to the ground, throws his hat down, and can't believe that a no ball was called.
Oh my word, that could be a game changer.
And that brings a free hit, does it?
Yeah, it does bring a free hit, and it's a game changer. Because if the Storm's got that wicket of Haasbroek, they would be chasing a slightly lower target. But let's see if he's going to be able to utilize his second life, because he's the only batter that is settled and he's scored above 30.
Agreed. Now, why is he insisting? Oh! Second life.
It was a free hit.
Was it?
It was a free hit.
It was a free hit.
It was a free hit.
And he didn't nick it, did it? Or was that just a ball swinging away?
No, I think he nicked it, but it was a
He
free
nicked
hit.
it.
He nicked it, but it was a free hit. I think we must maybe get some binoculars for my fellow commentator here. It was a clear nick, but it was a free hit.
Damn. So the plan. So the question I was asking, why would Haasbroek insist on that? And there he goes.
Oh my word! 3 dismissals and 3 balls. 1 bowled, 1 nicked off, 1 caught square leg.
And two dismissals not counting. 1 no ball, the free hit, and the third one lucky. So commentators curse.
A lot of drama happening at Willowmoore Park.
It's all happening
today. I think Daltwell is probably saying to Ngobo, "You're lucky. You got him out now. Because if he hit a 6, I was gonna give you a big slap."
Indeed, and Rowan Haasbroek's 43 runs just had him hit 1 massive 6 and 2 4s off the 41 balls that he faced in the 51 minutes that he was out there. So yeah, indeed, Ngobo is extremely lucky that he got him out. Didn't get him out fairly with the ball that bowled him, or inside edge that bowled him. Am I right?
Yeah, inside edge.
And then with the nick that required my prescription from the optometrist, as Mr. Slangeni would have it. Clearly, he knows an optometrist that he would recommend for me. And Ngobo on the third legal delivery, or third ball, but the legal delivery, then gets his wicket, gets his man. As Posthumous again goes across the wicket and just try to scoop it around the corner.
Haasbroek, and I think it's a good catch by Mark Pierce at square leg there. New batter, Don Khadebe, the man from Koankoa, and I think he's a good striker, clean strike of a cricket ball, but yeah, the conditions might not allow him to just walk in and start clearing the fence. And I know Don Khadebe is probably a good all-rounder. He's been a good finisher. First ball, he hits it for a boundary. Like I mentioned, it's a good strike of a cricket ball. Ngobo trying to get LBW, bowling 2 straight. And Don Khadebe strikes at 400. 1 ball, 4 runs. Good way to start.
Clipped it quite easily off his feet. as a mathematician next to me works it out. So strike rate of 400, yes, would be. As Ngobo finishes his third over. So far 1 for 22 in the 3 overs he's bowled. Posthumous is a debate, the brains trust of Eastern Storm getting together and trying to decide what is to happen.
No, I think they were just discussing that there's 3 overs left.
Yep.
2 overs from the Guruleni, and Posthumous has got 1, Rasimena has got 1. So they were discussing whether to bowl Rasimena or continue with Posthumous after he got a breakthrough. So I think it's a good idea, or brilliant thing, to keep Posthumous continuing on to the 18th over to ensure that they get another breakthrough, because that's going to put the Impala under more pressure. They don't want to get bowled out inside the 20 overs, so good tactic from them.
Indeed it is, because keep the bowler with the momentum going. You got 2 fairly new batsmen at the crease, so that will add pressure. Posthumous must be feeling very confident as well at the moment. So yeah, keep him on, let him see through or bowl through his allotted 4 overs.
I think the short one will be interesting, because Don Khadebe likes taking on the short delivery.
Let's see. Full
misses his mark, but low full toss. I think as Khadebe is just failing you, for him to execute or hit the ball cleanly, it would be slightly difficult because as a new batsman coming into the crease, you have to get used to the pace of the wicket, the pace of the bowler, and how the conditions are. So I think that he was lucky there with that full toss.
Probably surprised him as well because he would have probably thought that the ball would have bounced and not get an attempted Yorker, I would say.
I think my money is on the short one, this delivery. Knowing Posthumous that he likes the short ball, I think my money is on the short ball now.
Well, let's see. I would have reserved that.
Ooh, beautiful Yorker there. Beautiful Yorker, almost bowled Don Khadebe.
I think it got him on the toe. Just looking at Don walking away to the onside, must have hit him on the toe. And from the reaction from Mashiko, the wicket keeper, as well as Posthumous, that ball nearly rolled onto the wickets.
Yes, yes. At least now the optometrist prescriptions is working.
These fellas from the Easterns that have the connections nearby.
Okay. I know Posthumous likes to utilize the short ball every now and then, but it was fairly wide, and Don Khadebe was just expecting a straight bumper. So he cleared that front leg just to go for the big slog pull shot, but Posthumous bowled a wide bumper, and I think if he just waited still, he would have cut that for 4.
I think he's concentrating on the pain of the toe there, the previous ball, and as
There's
I say
Don
that, he
Khadebe.
lifts it, lofts it over mid-off for a boundary, and smacks it clean.
It looks like I know Don Khadebe very well. Clean strike over cricket ball, 2 boundaries in 5 balls.
18 overs gone, 125 for 6 they are, where they were 107 for 3 after 15, so they lost 3 wickets in a space of 3 overs.
Tulang Nobo coming for his last over from the willow end. Let's see how he's going to be bowling to the new batter, because Hasbrook was the one looking to sweep him into the short boundary, and it would be interesting how Mushwana would go about his business on the last 12 balls here.
Well, it's an experienced campaigner, so I think he's going to dart it in and have the batsman reach for it as he bowls that across the right-hander. Had Mushwana not reached out, I'm sure the umpires would have called that wide.
No, I think it was slightly inside that wide mark. Probably Mushwana was just backing the umpire to give him an extra delivery. And I think Mushwana knows that Ngoba is going to bowl wide. Maybe he might surprise him with a straight one, so he should be standing outside off stump.
And he takes a wild swing at that as the ball comes across him, and the ball goes over the short third man fielder for a boundary. So it looks like they're going to throw everything at every single ball coming their way.
Yeah, no, it's the last 2 overs, obviously with 4 wickets in hand, and it's still a T20 game. Guys will just go for the big wild swing. But I think Tulang Ngobo should have thought about it instead of being reactive now that he considered a boundary. He should have been proactive, knowing that he's going to execute nice and wide with the third man back.
Indeed. And as he does that, oh, brilliant! He did have that in his hands, yes, and
Yeah.
it just fell over the boundary and threw it back in. No third umpire or TV umpire, so we won't be able to ascertain whether he had released the ball prior to falling over the boundary.
I think it was a clean save there. I don't think we need fancy cameras. We just need to open our eyes slightly wider. Clean save. I think for some of us guys with the good vision, we saw that he was about a meter in when he threw that ball back into the field.
So you've been having your carrot juice as well, Mr. Hlingani, because
No, no,
Mr. Koa told me that he has carrot juice every morning.
No, I don't need carrot juice. I just need to exercise because I think my eyes are a muscle as well. So as soon as you do visual skills, you're training that muscle to have clear vision. Coming back into the game. Tulan Ngobo, I think with the batsman knowing that he's going to bowl everything outside of stump, I think maybe he can risk to double bluff just one ball straight into the stumps, even if he gets hit. And if the batsman misses the ball, that brings another wicket. But maybe he doesn't want Dartswell to be on his face there. Last delivery left, the score sitting on 132 for 6. Let's see how he finishes off, because I know Don Khadebe likes hitting the ball nice and straight. If he misses his length, the ball's going to go.
With the vision that I have, I would predict that, as you rightfully described, instead of going across, surprise them, because the batsmen are clearly going to their offside, trying to play to the leg side, which is a shorter boundary. So if you were to bowl it straight, Yorker length, that would probably hit the stumps.
Yeah, I think
And the batsman wouldn't expect it.
exactly. A little bit of a double bluff. I think it would work, but sometimes you don't want to risk it. You rather play safe and still execute to your strengths and the field you've set. But now Ngobo went a little bit too wide as he was following Khadebe.
Oh, and it looks like this is going to not land in anybody's hands, but lands in no man's land. The wicketkeeper, backward point, and the short third man all running in to the ball. So after 19 overs, 134 for 6, Limpopo Impalas are 134 for 6 after 19, as Andrew Rasimani comes back into the attack for the last over of the Limpopo Impalas innings.
I think Rasimena is going to back himself to just bowl a little bit of variation. But he has to be very careful here that you don't, just overthink things and always want to get hit to the long boundary, because batsmen these days are a little bit innovative. They can go for the scoop or the reverse scoop. But now Andrew Rasimena has got 3 guys back on the onside, deep square, deep mid wicket and a long one. So he's going to bowl full and straight. Very good bowling.
Indeed, he bowled full just outside off stump, and Don Khadebe trying to cart that as far as possible, but not able to get underneath it.
It's interesting to see the 2 batters. They don't look very athletic there, but they could get 2 runs. So I promise you, a guy like Don Khadebe, if he has to do it 6 times in an over, after 3 times, he would feel like he's running the comrades.
And Don must have heard Israel chirping there, because he tried to hit that straight to the commentary box, right over the pitch, and misses as the ball goes through to the wicketkeeper Mashiko.
Yeah, I think Rasimena got away with it there. You don't want to be bowling length in the last overs. So Don Khadebe just missed out there. I think the most important thing in the last overs, when you want to execute maximum shots, you must keep your head still. There we go. Low full toss. As I just mentioned, Don Khadebe was not interested on the second one.
He just fooled all of us by pretending to turn, but you.
It's one of those. You want to show the coach that, coach, I was aiming for the second one.
I was looking.
But not really.
And the coach would look at him and say, yes. Rasimani running in again. Puts it full on middle stump, and the batsman Mushana just lofting it for a single to the deep mid-on boundary.
I think one little bit of awareness there. Russiman's bowling figures, they're not looking too bad. On the start over
the north. Ikuruleti end. Limpopo Impalas taking to the field, hoping to defend 141, which is the target that Eastern Storm would be looking at. Our third umpire for this particular match, as part of the match officials, Thomas Mokoros. Yeah, was that correct? Yeah, Mokoros. And the match referee, Barry Lamson. Opening the batting for Eastern Storm would be Kabelo Sekukune and Pierce. Is it Pierce?
Mark Pierce.
Mark Pierce opening the batting. How do you think they would approach this game, Isra? This particular chase.
I think the most important thing is how well you play in that power play. Number one thing is you don't want to lose more than 2 wickets in the power play. Key thing. Factor number 2 is ensuring that you don't let the bowler settle. So it's important how the first couple of balls are going to go. But as well, the batter, it's important to also assess if the ball is shaping or doing something, because you don't just want to say, yeah, it's swung, because the ball is allowed to swing in cricket and it's a new good. So I think Mark Pierce, knowing that he loves hitting over mid-on and mid-off when the ball is pitched up, so he has to make sure he commits very well. And he likes taking on the short ball as well. So it's going to be nice and interesting how the Limpopo guys go about defending this score as well.
Interesting, and they're opening the bowling for them is Jesse James Albani coming on from the Willow end. Bowls short, Mark Pierce on the back foot, and he just darts it down for a dot ball.
I think it's quite strange looking at that first ball. Back of a length, it held up slightly. Probably the batter was expecting it to come up slightly quicker. But you don't know. Sometimes it could have been a loosener. And you're thinking, now the ball is holding up, but the next one could rush you. So it's important to be nice and vigilant as well.
Element of doubt created in the batsman's head. Aha. And then, yes, I think that was a warm-up. Oh, good running there. Fielders in tight, but the batsman still saw the opportunity to run through for a quick single. And here's the exciting Kabelo Sekukune, leading run scorer for Eastern Storm, currently having scored 187 runs in the 5 matches that they've played, with a strike rate of 143. I'm going to leave that for you to explain. An average or highest score 38. Right.
Highest score 44 and average of 38 throughout this competition.
Brilliant. So I found out that the young man is from Davidton and his sister plays for the Proteas. Knowledge that I didn't have before, and I'm sure you would have some insights that you'd share with our listeners and our viewers.
Yeah, I think Kabelo Sekukune, born, raised, brooded in Davidton, and he played age group cricket here at Easterns, and I think he made the SN 19 as well. He just didn't make the World Cup team, but he's one of the guys that played very well. I remember in under 19 he was one of the best players of spin, and knowing that his sister Tumi Sekukune, she's also an all-rounder playing for the ladies Proteas team. And he's got 2 cousins as well that were cricket players, but I think they're coming from a cricketing family, which is good to see that both brothers have gone to professional cricket, but the other one stopped. And Kabelo Sekukune being one of the guys that excelled through, he was in University of Forte, and he studied human movement science. And when he came back this side, he was playing for the Titans, and now he's contracted with the Storms. And I think about 3 years ago he was with the Warriors as well. So a youngster that has played some fair share of good cricket.
Listen, one thing for sure is that he is not conventional. He's not a traditional cricketer, as he just gets on the back foot there and pulls that short ball over the deep square, over the square leg, and the ball goes for 4 at the boundary on the deep square side, which is the longer end of the field, close to the grandstand, and clearly meaning business already.
Yeah, I think one thing that I like about what I've seen this season is him being able to hit balls straighter, because he's very strong cutting and pulling and flicking as well. But he's improved his game. Previous game when they played the Inyati team, where he scored that 44 early on, he was hitting balls nice and straight. So it's good to see that he has grown in his game, a little bit of maturity. So let's just see in terms of the tempo of which they're going to go about the game, because it's important. 7 rounds of the first over, while they only just need to chase 7.1 now. But it's important to ensure that in this power play, the bowlers need to be put under pressure without losing wickets as well. Okay, and to open the bowling for the Impala team from the Ekurhuleni end is Mone Fenter, jersey number 120, as you just mentioned. Interesting number.
Is that because, as an all-rounder, he knows that, or his target is 100 plus, and he gives himself 120 as a target when he goes into bat? Or is there another significance to the 120?
I have no idea. You know, this maybe it was his highest score as a young player or as a youngster. Probably when he scored that, he felt lucky, and he felt like that number belongs to him. Because a lot of youngsters go through that. Some it's birthday months, some it's birthday years, or the lucky number 9 or lucky number 120. So I don't know the reason behind that.
Mone Fenter comes in and, oh, my word, for a long time there I thought the ball was running away from Pierce, but the fielder made ground beautifully and catches him on the long off boundary as he tried to loft that ball on the offside. So Mark Pierce falls for 2 after only facing 3 balls.
Yeah, I think good plan that they had for Mark Pierce. They know that he loves hitting over the top up front, and he loves hitting that long off region. And Ludwig Keesner had covered some good ground to make sure that he makes it a nice and comfortable catch for the Impala to get their first breakthrough. And the new upcoming batsman is Nhlanhla Mashego, one of the youngsters that I love watching him bat. He's got shots under his armory, but one thing that it has been advised to him is for him to also grow on his touch cricket, because he loves shots. He plays like the old Calypso Caribbean cricket.
Yeah, man, hit ball, man.
See ball, hit ball.
We hit ball, man. Who run things, man? Who run things? Mashego, wicket keeper as well. So quite a handy batsman as well, then, by the looks of things.
Yeah.
So good all-rounder.
Yeah, and throughout age group cricket, he was bowling some offies as well. You know, keepers in age group cricket, they tend to do all these things. But he's a handy young wicket keeper that needs to work a lot on his keeping. But I know utilizing him in the short format, it's not that risky in T20 cricket. But his batting, he's a very good young batsman that likes taking on bowling attacks early. So I would like to see how he goes about his approach today.
Would it be a case of, listen, we don't have that big a score, let's see if we can build an innings while chasing without too much pressure, that he's been asked to come one down?
I have no idea, but I think he might give himself some time, knowing that Sikukune is the one that is already taking the power play on. So it would be interesting to see him play a little bit of touch cricket, because he likes hitting big shots early on in his innings. And one thing he should do, or a lot of youngsters don't tend to do, is give themselves an opportunity to just understand the wickets by rotating strike, and when it's in the area, back yourself.
Has an open stance. Oof. Oof. Oh, 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 oh. What class. What class. Didn't do much, just hit through the ball open up the blade of the bat slightly, and the ball runs to the cover boundary.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit greedy from the bowler because he's got two slips there. He was bowling a floater, try to swing it away. So one thing you have to do is still hit the wicket and bowl a good length to utilize those two catches at the back there. Better length from Monefenta, where the previous ball was a nice juicy half volley where Mashiko just put it away easily, but now he just gets his length slightly better, hitting a good length and a nice strike rotation from Mashiko. And I think it's part of what we've been discussing when we're working with him in the net, that yes, you've got good hitting skills, but the higher level you play, you also have to understand that the bowlers are also allowed to do well. So it's something that he's growing into.
Now, what I'm about to bring up now is going to right down your alley. Would his eyesight be good? So his hand-eye coordination is top-notch? And thus, he hits the ball as smoothly as he does.
Yeah, I think he's one of the batters that is very wristy. Number one, he's very wristy.
As you mentioned, wristy, Gabrielo Sekukune plays an unorthodox shot. As traditional cricketers, yes. I mean, I look at that and I think tennis. But he came down the wicket and he just worked it around the corner beautifully for 4 runs.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. He's very strong hitting the ball square of the wickets. He flicks very well, pulls very well, cuts very well. And if I was on the fielding team, I would put my fielding placements very square, because that's where his strength is. Try to test him to hit more straighter. As you see there, every batter, they hit a boundary and there's good strike rotation, which gives the Eastern Storms 10 runs for the previous over, where both batters hit a boundary and they rotated strike very well. So that just shows a little bit of good intent or good game awareness.
Got the boundary. There's no need to go for another. Ball slightly or coming into him, and he just darts it down to third man and strolls through for that single at the end of that over. So 2 overs gone, 17 for 1 Eastern Stormer, as Albani comes back in for the second over from the Willow end on the south, and starts off his second over extremely wide to the left-handed Gabelo Sekukune. Would that be related to the Sekukune football family?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just a surname.
Yep.
Yeah, but anything is possible. You never know. 10 generations back there could have been cousins.
As Albani comes in, puts it short of length, and Gabelo just gets behind it nice and smooth. Umpire indicating no ball. Yes, it is
Free
no
hit.
ball. Free hit. Let's see. Would Gabelo go after this free hit, knowing that he can't get out, irrespective of what the bowler bowls?
I think it would be silly for him not to go after it, because that's why it's a free hit. You're allowed to swing the blade. And I know that he is going to take him on over his head. Let's see if the bowler is going to hit length.
Or short.
Oh, good bowling, good skill execution. Because he was probably expecting the bowler to hit length and he was looking to lap there. So that bumper surprised him because he wasn't expecting it.
But he's a good hooker, the ball. So, yeah, as you say, yeah, looking for length. So, yeah, it would have taken him a bit longer to get on the back foot and hook that.
Yeah, I think sometimes as a batter, you don't want to be too predictable in terms of what you bring in your armory. But I don't know what he was trying to do there. Probably looking to lap or pull, because he just cleared his front leg. But Albani executed that short ball very well to make sure that he doesn't get punished for the free hit.
And he caught the batsman, Gabrielo, somewhat by surprise as well, because literally squared him up. He ended up chest facing the chasing the bowler and wondering, exactly how did that ball miss? It's good running between the wickets. Ball just worked off his hip around the corner to 45, where a diving fielder stops the ball, and they threw for 1 run. Rotating strike again. Israel, yes. So not much to do on a Sunday out in the East Rand, seeing the amount of spectators on the stands, even on the far southern end, and then the spectators on the grandstand.
I think, in the East Rand, a lot of guys go to church, so we don't have a lot of too many activities, huh? That's why it's called the East. In the East, a lot of things happen, and they tend to surprise people. As I just said, Kabelas Kukuna, very strong square of the wicket, and he manages to pierce through the 3 guys there. There's a, I think, backward point, short cover point,
Correct.
and extra cover, but he manages to pierce them. It just shows that he's very strong there in that region.
And his eyesight must be brilliant, because, out of nowhere, picked that up and just opened up the blade.
Yeah, I think it's important for Albani to make sure that he doesn't make Sikukuna hit the ball nice and square. Personally, what I would do is I would ensure that I force him to play nice and straight, because his strength is hitting the ball square. So every time he's going to be given some room to free his hands, he's going to have a full swing at it.
And his response to that cover drive was a ball outside leg stump, which Cabello missed out on, because had he hit that, would have been a sure boundary, because fine leg is off, and he takes a good high back lift with the following or last ball of Albani, and he hits straight to extra cover for no run.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess out there. Nice juicy out volley that you can just hit it wide of mid-off, but seemingly that he prefers hitting ball square. Another change of bowling from the Ekurhuleni end is the old man himself, Aldred Hawkins.
Old man? You mean he's been around?
He's been around for a very long time. Originally from Zanin, he went to play cricket for Northwest, and he also played a couple of games for the Lions, and recently moved back home. And he's been around, and he's quite a decent bowler, and I like the fact that he brings a lot of experience in terms of bowling into this team.
Zanin, is that not where Mashant Delanga is also from?
Yeah, I think that's where all the fast bowlers are getting cooked in Zanin. Mashant Delanga is from there. He's from there. Don Khadeb is from there. So there's quite a number of good cricketers coming from that region. And I think it's the mangoes and the bananas that breeds these fast bowlers. Because Del Steyn is from Palabora.
From Palabora, yeah. And how many schools would they be competing at, or do they travel all the way up to the cities to be playing competitive cricket?
No, I think if you look at the Limpopo region, the competitive cricketers mostly come from the Zanin region, because there's Ben Foster, there's Marensky, the Afrikaans school, where I think he comes from and Mashan comes from, and I forgot, there's another third school, private English school, that is from there. So that's where most of the good cricketers play cricket or play school cricket. So they didn't really need to drive to the city to play some good cricket. Yes.
Bowling wide of the wicket, Hawkins, and the young Mashiko.
Having a wild swing.
Yeah, probably still getting acclimatized to how the pitch is playing, because he missed all 3 balls there so far. And a fourth, Hawken bowling wide of the wickets,
and Mashiko not moving his feet at all to get close to the ball to try hit it on the offside.
I think Hawken is a smart oak, very experienced. You just have a look, as he starts his run up, he has a look at deep square. And the youngster is probably expecting bumpers and he's giving him a lot of double bluffs outside of stump.
So he's flicking him.
Yeah, so he's every now and then he keeps moving that deep square so that the youngster thinks, yeah, it's a bumper coming. But he tends to bowl it nice and wide.
And he's got a pack offside field as well. 7-3 field, and that's it. oh, what eyes.
Exactly what I just told you now. Every now and then he keeps moving that deep square just to trick the youngster. But he has not bowled one short ball this whole over.
And he bowled that last one full, and Mashiko got onto the front foot, got to the pitch of the ball, and carted it onto the grass embankment. The ball's actually gone up the grass embankment after hitting the boundary rope and then going over the side, the advertising board on the side and then onto the grass embankment. Look, they're going at a very steady rate here. After 4 overs, Limpopo Impalas were 26 for 1. It's only 3 overs gone. Penultimate ball, or the ultimate ball, just been bowled. So 4 overs gone, and currently Eastern Storm are 29 for 1.
So what's your thoughts in terms of how do you think Limpopo is going to create pressure now?
Well, Wickets is the only thing that can add any sort of pressure. They need to find a way of getting wickets, and looks like there's a change of bowler from the southern end, the Willow end. The big man, Don Khadebe, your man that disciplined and listened to you, shed some kilograms and he's into the attack to Kabelo.
Yeah, I think now the captain knows that they have to get wickets in order to create that pressure. So they bring the premium guy who's got most of the wickets for them in the season. And there we go. First ball, gets a wicket. Exactly the man to bring into the attack. Don Khadebe gets the first breakthrough as Sikukune tries to clear his mid off and he hits it straight down his throat. So it just shows that Don Khadebe is having a good season. That's why he's been the leading wicket taker with 11 wickets, and he gets the 12th one for the season in this competition.
Sikune's 15 runs came off 12 balls, and he managed to hit 3 fours in the 21 minutes that he was at the crease. Yeah, he'd be disappointed with that, because as the leading run scorer for Eastern Storm and them needing at least a win here, and a convincing win, in order to still keep them in contention, he would have wanted to contribute a great deal more to that scoreboard. 29 for 2 then after 4, and Don Khadebe taking wicket with his very first ball as the new batsman comes in.
Jevon Murray comes in to bat at number 4. Jersey number 15, youngster that likes the short version of the game. I remember he did very well during the World Cup for the SN19 team, where he scored runs against the West Indies on the first game, scored runs to finish off the game against Scotland, and he's being the nice youngster that likes to bat. He normally likes to bat at number 4 and 5, but seeing that the first game he played against the Inyati, he scored a 50 for the Eastern Storms, and he's one of the upcoming youngsters that comes from Marefel down in Alberton. Made the Easterns under 19 twice in a row, and with the SN 19 experience, I think he's going to do well for the Storms today.
The previous home game here, he was also lucky to be run out. I think first or second ball that he faced. He was run out on the far end. Yeah, the first ball he faced was run out on the far end. Mr. Slangeni, you had the privilege of being with the youngsters at the ICC and the 19 men's team. What insights over and above the stats that we know of Devon Murray could you possibly give us?
I think he was utilized at number 5 and 6 in the batting lineup. And beautiful shot by Devon Murray. This is a youngster that will destroy a lot of bowling attacks, and he likes to bat right at the end to finish off innings, and he loves bat and ball. I remember about 4 or 5 years ago when he first came for the under-19 trials here in the East, and I said this is one of the youngsters that we need to make sure that he gets some game time. And it's nice to see him obviously playing first-class cricket at the moment. And I think when he played the 4-day format, he struggled a little bit, but he loves the white ball stuff. I remember now last year late when the SA emerging team played, he was the youngster that took the game away from the same Limpopo team when they played against them at Tux. He scored 80 in about 60 balls, and it looks like he's going to take on from that innings.
So works at a good strike rate as the Limpopo Impalas all go up. That missed everything from Don Khadebe. Umpire indicates 4 byes. Yeah, literally missed everything. Back, ball, wicket keeper as well.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the way Don Khadebe is bowling now. It shows that he's got his tail up and he's bowling wicket-taking deliveries. So it's going to be an interesting contest, seeing that Murray likes taking on the bowlers and Don Khadebe has got his tail up, with him being the leading wicket taker in this competition for us.
Yeah, best figures of 5 for 25, as you said, and 12 wickets in the bag for him so far in the competition. And Devon Murray taking a quick single to the offside to rotate the strike at the end of that over. So after 5 overs, Eastern Storm are 38 for 2. In comparison, the Limpopo Impalas were 29 for 2. So 38 for 2. Eastern Storm are where Limpopo Impalas were 29 for 2.
9 runs difference, and it depends. It all depends on what's going to happen now. The last over of the power play, but knowing a guy like Hawken, who's got experience, it's not going to be easy to take him on and finishing off this power play on a high. And I think both teams have struggled a little bit up front in the power play.
Indeed they have. I'm going back to what you mentioned earlier, just about the rain that had fallen in this week. Could that have had an impact on the wicket and it playing differently for the top order batsmen?
Yeah, obviously that makes a massive impact. A lot of teams, when they come to Willowmoore, it's a similar wicket to the bull ring, where there's nice carry, nice bounce and quick pace. But here, some of the odd balls are just stopping off the surface. So it becomes a little bit tricky for the batters to execute. As I just speak about it, the ball holds up. Devon Murray gets bowled, trying to cut the straight ball. And the Eastern Storms loses their 3rd wicket inside the power play. As we know, the stats mention, Mr. Templeton, that if you lose 3 wickets in the power play, you're always playing catch-up cricket.
Indeed. And just from the cheer, from the stands, looks like the Limpopo Impalas have quite a large entourage following them around, as Devon Murray departs there after a short stay of 7 balls and scoring 5 runs. Yeah, next batsman in.
Aaron Visser, the sushi man.
Oh, does he like his fish, does he?
We call him sushi because he's one guy that loves his fish. And he's from St. Benedict's. One thing that I've enjoyed about this youngster is his work ethic. Every now and then he would struggle with form, but he would be the hardest working youngster. And he works very hard in terms of his fitness. I think he's the fittest player in the whole squad, the Eastern Storm squad. And I think when we look at the stats here, he's the second leading run scorer with 128 runs. And with the highest score, 42 runs. And he's one of the guys that have to hold this innings for the Storms to make sure that they get to the runs required here.
Hawken coming in again. Bowls a ball full on the stumps, and Visser just keeps it out. You mentioned he enjoys his fitness. That is very evident when Eastern Storm are fielding. He gets around the boundary, he gets to the ball very quickly, and he gets the ball back to the wicketkeeper in equally quick time as well. Hawken turns. Runs in, delivers a ball full, and the classic drive by Visser to the to the mid-off fielder. No run.
Yeah, I think when you mention about his fielding, he's the guy that saved that big six. When you said we need cameras from all sort of angles, just to see his observation, and that was when the carrots had to be had for a lunch. But seeing that your vision has improved now, it shows that the prescription is working.
Look, he gets around the field very quickly. That indeed he does. The carrots certainly work. I did say to Mr. Glover the last time that I will try the carrot juice every morning. Obviously, it takes time to get into the system.
If you look at the way Hawken has been bowling here, it looks like he's got an injury. Because after releasing the ball, his follow through is like, those Sunday afternoon leagues where a guy opens the bowling and he just takes 3 steps and bowling doubly doubles. So he doesn't look that fit, or maybe age is catching up with him.
Well, you did call him the old man of the team, so that would be the case. Trying to preserve as much energy and not overexerting himself, knowing what the body is going through.
Yeah. At the end of the power play, and I think the Eastern Storms are sitting on 40 runs for the loss of 3 wickets. I don't know what the plan is now from the change room on how they're going to approach the rest of the innings. So on the same time, the Limpopo Impala was sitting on 31 for the loss of 2 wickets. So the comparison is just still 9 runs, but the Storms have lost 1 extra wicket.
Yeah, 9 runs in it. And the extra wicket, as you correctly point out, as Don Khadebe continues from the willow end on the south there. Willowmoore Park Cricket Stadium has become quite a popular venue because Momentum Women are playing here on Wednesday.
I think it's good to have all these games hosted by the small unions, because sometimes, to inspire young players, it's always good to see the international or professional players playing around the nearest venue in order to ensure that we get a large or a bigger number of women's cricket to grow. And it's been a department that has been growing enormously in the past 3 or 4 years. So it's good to host some of these games.
Khadebe comes in again as Visser. Oh, that's
beautiful fielding by Gaudisa Molefe, a left-hand fielder who picks up the ball with his right hand and throws to Don Khadebe, and that gets Aaron Visser dismissed by more than 1 meter there. That was a massive turnover in the game. Gaudisa Molefe, a very good young fielder, and that just changes the whole complexion of the game. The Storms have lost 4 wickets now.
So pressure building, and they're creating that pressure for themselves because their run rate achieved 6.5 where it was required at 7.1 at the start of their chase. So losing the wickets, they are causing pressure for themselves, creating pressure for themselves. I'm sure the coach wouldn't be too happy, as I think it's the captain walking out.
Now that's Devon Postumus. Devon Postumus walks in a little bit earlier. Probably Shane Dutswell wants to be saved for a little bit later when the spinners come on. And I think that would be the tactic because they've lost 4 wickets very early. So they're trying to get someone who's going to stabilize the innings just for them to take it slightly deeper. Because what you don't want to do is lose too many wickets early so that you don't get to finish the innings better or finishing the innings well. So as you can see now, there's one thing that I've picked up in this whole fielding session that the Impalas have had is because they're sitting top of the log. You can see the positive energy, the positive vibe around the field, fielders being alert and them believing that they're going to do this.
And that belief is certainly there as they go up, appealing for a LBW. But I think the ball was going down leg.
It was sliding down.
Sliding down. There we go. So my eyesight not all that bad then, you see.
Yeah, I think if someone is batting on middle stump and the ball hits the pad, it's always sliding down. Can't be missing off stump. But it's good to see the fact that the eyes are seeing it slightly better, because maybe before the change of innings you would have said missing off stump definitely.
Gone. Early shower there for the batsman, but yeah. So we have Posthumus and Masigo in the middle for Eastern Storm. Probably try steady the innings, accumulate runs slowly until about the 10th over.
Yeah, I think they have to rebuild now. But one thing you don't want to do in T20 cricket, say you're rebuilding and you're chowing a lot of dots in between, because you still want to be rotating strike and still have positive intent. Very good hit by Mashiko. He hits it on the up to the extra cover region where he only picks up 1 run. Good bowling by Don Khadebe, who finishes off his second overs and he's only considered 8 runs for 1 wicket.
Yeah, one for 9. 1 for 9 off 2. So going at 4.5 and over is the experienced Don Khadebe. Clearly leading the way there. Wicketkeeper calling for a helmet. That's CSA Masondo calling for a helmet. So we're going to see change of bowling.
Kaudisa Molefe.
Molefe comes on from the Ekurhuleni end. Setting his field in discussion with his captain there, trying to ascertain exactly what they want to do. But I can already see he has a deep square leg out 10 meters from the boundary. He's sent over, the captain's taking himself out to the deep mid-wicket boundary. Deep long on is on the boundary, on the ropes, as is deep mid-off.
Yeah, no, I think with the amount of pressure the Storms are sitting, Kaudisa can afford to put a slip. It just shows good captaincy from Caesar Masondo, who knows that they still have to keep attacking so that they get wicket number 5 and 6 and they finish off the game. Because if the Storms lose another 2 wickets early, that could be the end of the game for them. So Kaudisa starts with a beautiful dotted Yorker, trying to get Mashiko dismissed on his first ball.
Left arm around the wicket. He goes in, bowls, middle stump, and Mashiko just trods and runs the ball through to the cover fielder, and they threw for a single. The posthumous will be facing Molefe for the first time. And it has a deep cover as well on the boundary. Has a deep cover on the boundary, quite far on the offside. Another single there. So the rotation of strike, pretty good.
Yeah, I think as a fielding team, you wouldn't mind getting 1 or 2 dot in the over and without considering a boundary. And that will keep that required run rate climbing every single time. Beautiful ball by Gaudisa Molefe. He gets to rip it, pitching on off stump and slight turn and bounce, which is going to put Mashiko under pressure now because the odd one just spun past his outside edge.
Comes again around the wicket. Oh! And the inexperience of Mashiko takes a hoik at that. Fortunately, doesn't quite connect, and the ball just bounces before the mid-off could run in and get the ball. Molefe. Oh,
great fielding by Gaudisa Molefe. Exactly what I spoke about. You don't mind when someone is rotating the strike in the middle period, because you know all you have to do is get 1 or 2 dots to keep creating that pressure.
Indeed. Because that pressure, or as we refer to scoreboard pressure, is what will get the batting team worried, and the message from the change room also saying, look, have a look at the scoreboard. This is what we need, and currently Eastern Storm need another 94 runs off 72 balls. And Van der Merwe coming in, he's the leading or second leading bowler, wicket taker for the Limpopo Impalas. Left arm quick, coming over the wicket from the willow end. Looks like a tall character from where I sit. Let me see if my eyesight is good.
Yeah, no, he is quite a tall character. Young boy that comes from Pretoria, and he's recently moved to Polokwane to try and get some first-class cricket under his belt. And he was part of the academy, the Titans Academy in Pretoria, and is one of the boys that has been doing well with the ball. And finding that left arm seamer, it's a good to have in your team, because a lot of bowlers are right arm seamers, and that's part of his success there. So as Mashiko just hits it over extra, Liam Peters almost got to that ball. But now what you don't want to do here for Mashiko is lose your wicket, because if they lose their 5th wicket before 50 runs, I think with that double, the scoreboard gets
just one short.
Yeah,
of 50
gets closer to that 50 mark. But it's important for Mashiko and Posthumous to ensure that they don't lose a wicket in the next 3-4 overs. But Van der Merwe is doing well with the ball as well. Beautiful ball by Van der Merwe, who just cuts Mashiko into 2 halves there. He was trying to hit into the cover region, and the ball nibs back off the wicket, which is good bowling. It's good to see left arm seamer nipping the ball back into the batsman, which just shows a lot of biomechanical principles applied very well with a wrist position and a strong action.
Yeah, he looks like a very strong character, strong upper body. Tall as you say. And goes across the side. Goes across the batsman, and Mashiko takes advantage of that ball and lofts the ball over the cover region for a single. And that brings up Eastern Storm 50 runs. Coming off 54 balls in the 43 minutes that this innings has been going on. But by comparison, The Limpopo Impalas 50 came up in the 9th over, and Eastern Storm 50 has now come up in 8.4.
I think one thing that would be very interesting in terms of their approach here, the run rate keeps on climbing. It was 7.1 in the beginning of the power play, and now as they're trying to rebuild, it's climbed to 8.1, and you don't want to get it to that 10 mark very early.
Yeah.
So you want to keep scoring a little bit of runs, but ensuring that you play. Oh, Posthumous hits it straight to deep mid-wicket's throat, and the Eastern Storms loses their 5th wicket for 50 runs. Posthumous got it nicely. He flicked it straight to that mid-wicket region, and it's a little bit disappointing to see that none of the top order batters are applying themselves here. So what's your thoughts in terms of application and ensuring that you take the game deep?
Did they underestimate the score? The 140 that they need to chase? Are they not able to adapt in changing their game plan? Or is the pitch contributed to all of this?
I think for me, the pitch it might contribute to all these things, but if you filled it for 20 overs, you should know what the wicket is doing. So for me, it's one of those processes that becomes like a snowball process where if you're not doing well as a team, it becomes year in, year out, or game in, game out, where you just lose wickets regularly. So it's something that is hurting the Eastern Storms mentally, because their approach is they're trying to rebuild, but the execution levels are not up to scratch.
Shane Datswell, the Eastern Storm captain, has walked into the crease, and he'll probably try guide the young Mashiko through this innings, as Eastern Storm need another 91 runs of 66 balls. And still bowling from the Igorolini end is Gaudisa Molefe, left arm, orthodox around the wicket. And Mashiko slips as he hits that ball. They're running through for a single. Would he run him out? And yes, indeed, he does. Mashiko slipped, and the few yards that would have cost him is exactly how he was run out. Good awareness from the bowler, getting behind the wickets and calling right away to the bowler's end and not the keeper's end, to ensure that run out. So, Eastern Storm in a spot to bother, I'd say, fella.
Yeah, I think for me it's disappointing from the youngster. I don't know, it was Datswell's call, but he slipped and fell. So I don't know, maybe a batsman could have said no, because I just fell now. But for them to lose their 6th wicket, it just shows a little bit of being immature. I think we just have to be direct at some point that if you're just losing wicket regularly, for you to rebuild, you can't be taking those risky singles.
Yeah, just causing pressure for themselves they are. New batsman in is Leandre Lube. And Datswell hits a long ball. Lube, from what I recall, also hits a long ball. So let's see if they're going to take on the Limpopo Impalas bowling attack and try hit the long balls.
I think with the way things are, scoreboard pressure, he's going to keep nailing them, and it gives Gaudisa that leverage for him to just toss the ball up slightly and ensure that it keeps tempting the batsman to go for it. Very good late cut by Shane Datswell, passing that slip and backward point for a double. I think it's important now that Gaudisa it gives him that extra leverage to say there's 6 wickets down. Datswell wants to take it deep, but let me just toss it up slightly so that he can take a risk early on in his innings.
Yeah, indeed. and that ball also turned beautifully, but Datswell had his eye on the ball and played it late as he cuts this particular ball that is pitched outside off stump, and he hits a ball with the turn on the offside to the deep cover region, and they stroll through for a single. Libba about to face his first ball.
Leandro Libba is one of the boys that also comes from Marefil big unit. I remember at the age of 16 he was still as tall as he is now. Very big unit, and he improved on his batting, and he has grown to become a solid all-rounder, although the Storms are using him at number 8 now. It's just a small test that gives him enough time to prove to the coach that he can bat probably maybe in the top 6, because 2 years ago when he played for the Eastern Scolts, he averaged above 120, of which got him to play for the Storms, and I think on his third 50 over match he got 100 against the Limpopo team. Oh my word, beautiful bowling from Gaudisa Molefe as he tosses the ball up and Leandro Libba spoons it back to the bowler. The Eastern Storms loses their 7th wicket inside the 10 overs. What a way of batting from the Eastern Storms as they're collapsing rapidly. Every single over it has brought a wicket.
After 10 overs, Eastern Storm are 53 for 7. 53 for 7 Eastern Storm are. By comparison, the Limpopo Impalas were 60 for 3 after 10. So yeah, interesting times. 4 wickets extra lost. Yeah, maybe it was my eyesight, but did that ball seem to have stuck and then pop up, and thus had the Libba just loop the ball up.
Yeah, I think it was good pace variation from Molefe, because the first couple of balls when he was bowling to Datswell, he was darting them in slightly, although there was purchase of the wicket. But now he slowed down the pace, and Luba looked to hit it to long on, and he spoons it back to the bowler.
Tell you what, the Limpopo Impala team are really on a high. The energy, the body language you can see all over, as they have 3 deep fielders on the square end, on the onside, and Van der Merwe bowls and cuts that ball in to the Eastern Storm captain Datswell and through to Sizwe Masondo, the wicketkeeper. Limpopo Impala also have a deep cover out there, so they know, or clearly have done their homework and know that Datswell likes to hit a long ball, covering all possibilities in the 3 fielders that they have. At deep mid-wicket, deep square leg, and then on the fine leg boundary, whereas Datswell plays the ball now and the fine leg fielder comes in to field the ball.
Just a small question for you, Mr. Templeton. With 7 wickets down, 10 overs bowled, and Datswell walks in now, what do you think his approach would be? Would he want to take deep, knowing that he's only got 3 wickets to play with? Or he is going to start playing some shots to get the Storms closer to that winning target?
Interesting question. I would approach it both ways. If the ball is there to be hit, and he can hit a ball, certainly do. Maximize on the bad ball, and then play the good ball as it were. But you also would need to put the fielding side under some sort of pressure. So, let them work for those wickets, albeit 3 wickets, but let them work for those wickets. And also, don't let them get comfortable by thinking that they've got you under.
Yeah, I think if I was in the Storms change room, I would say Yes, Datswell needs to start playing some shots, but with extra responsibility, because he's the last man standing at the moment in terms of recognized batters in the rest of the lineup. Because up next is going to be Simelane and Ngobo left to come in next. So-
following Rasimani.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's going to be Ngobo and Simelane. So you probably don't want to give the other guys a lot of balls to face. So you want to make sure that you get 1 or 2 boundaries early and then rotate the strike. Maybe leave them with 2 balls to play with, because that's very key as well to also keep scoring the runs. You don't just want to play for survival and not keeping the scoreboard ticking.
And as we say exactly that, the umpires are debating whether it's 6 or 4, and the fielder on the boundary indicates just went over the boundary rope for a 6. That's well getting on the back foot as Van der Merwe puts that one slightly shorter than a good length.
Yeah, I think it was not a bumper, it was just a short ball. Because if someone bowls a bumper, it should be above the shoulder, aiming for the batter's nose.
And Van der Merwe follows that up with a Yorker that Datswell keeps out. Calls for the run, but Rasemani sends him back, which is exactly what Mashiko should have done after slipping.
Exactly. I think one of the things, yes, Mashiko is a youngster, but sometimes take a little bit of accountability and say, even though the captain or the senior player calls for a single, if I'm not ready or I don't believe I'm going to make it to the other side, always say no. Because he was the only in batter, and for him to go out of the run out, I think it was a little bit of criminal for him to do that.
Van der Merwe comes across Datswell, who plays the ball square of the offside, and they go through for a single, with the score being 63 for 7. The Eastern Storm are after 11 overs. And the scoreboard tells us that there are 54 balls left, and Eastern Storm need another 78 to win. So our whole prediction about that ideal score clearly doesn't hold any water on this particular pitch, on this particular day. Possibly because you'd highlighted that there had been rain about during the week.
Yeah, indeed, Mr. Templeton. I think one thing that you've seen here is some balls are stopping off the surface. And it was just clear to see that Sekhukhune tried to hit one over mid-off, and it got stuck straight down mid-off's throat. Posthumus tried to hit one over mid-wicket, and the ball stopped at him. And Luba as well just spun it straight back to the bowler. So it just shows that the wicket holds up slightly, but it's not an excuse for the batting team to get those dismissals, because if you filled it for 20 overs, surely you should know how the wicket is playing for the day.
Indeed, and as the day progresses, the surface should become easier to play on. I can't remember whether they called for a heavy or a light roller at the change of innings.
No, I think they called for a heavy roller. But sometimes when you call for the heavy roller, if there's water underneath the surface and you call for the heavy roller, the water comes up and it becomes more and more spongy. So if they did really think that calling for a heavy roller will make them have a very good shot by Shane Datswell, comes down the wicket and he pierces through that extra cover region. Very good cricket shot from him. And I think if Gaudisa is bowling now, he should be excited that there's an opportunity for him to get a wicket if he's using his feet.
Indeed, yes, indeed. Classical cover drive to the off spinner. And Gaudisa moves short cover further around to try cut off that possible shot being played again. So Datswell cleverly plays it to the left of that particular short cover fielder, and they dart through for a single.
Let's see how Khadisa is going to bowl to Rasamani, because he's a new batter in. I think maybe squeeze him a little bit. Point comes closer. That extra cover closer. Squeeze him a little bit and see if he's going to take it on.
Indeed. Note to you, Mr. Hlengani.
Yes.
The captain number is 11. The bowler currently bowling to him is number 11. 11 to 11.
Yeah, small Nelson. Huh?
Small Nelson.
Small Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me numbers don't play a massive role, but it could have been that obviously it's 11-man sports.
Uh-huh.
That's why they both got jersey number 11.
Datswell is the batsman on the far end, wearing the number 11, and Alkin comes back into the attack. Aldrin Hawken, comes back into the attack, but he's switching ends. He's switching ends from the northern to the southern end, so from the Kurulene end to the southern end. And yeah, let's look at the man's experience and how he's going to tackle these remaining wickets, 3 wickets to 4, and whether he'll take them, having taken 1 wicket already in his first spell.
Good bowling change. With 7 wickets down, you want to make sure you kill the game. So it's good to bring the experienced bowler back into the attack. Yeah, I think the surface is maybe too paced, a little bit, but the way the Storms have approached their batting, it's very poor from them. It's very, very poor, because
Irresponsible.
yeah, no one took accountability to say, I want to take this game deep, because to lose 7 wickets inside 10 overs or in 10 overs, it's a little bit ridiculous for me.
Agreed. And as Hawken bowls the ball darting into the right-handed, Rasamani is very keen to get off strike. The captain sends him back, as that would have been a really cheeky single through to the ball being played to Mulife, who's on the square, or just off the square. Yeah, he just moved off the square now, on the offside. And that was in the arc. That was meant to hit, and Rasamani takes advantage, hits it over the head of Longoff, and Khadebe takes a slow jog to the boundary to pick up the ball, as Eastern Storm currently require 9.1 runs to the over.
Yeah, I think after Rasamani plays that shot, it's going to be interesting to see his social media page, because he backs himself as an all-rounder. He says he bats like Steve Smith, quite rusty. So in the next couple of days, I'm going to see that on his social media platform. He's going to say, beautiful shot by a middle order all-rounder.
And then what would your response be following the young man?
I'm going to say maybe bowlers were bowling underarm. That's the only time you would get to score. It means the bowlers are bowling underarm.
Beautiful banter. Important to to have a good positive image of yourself. And yes, all right. Now, what would he say by hitting that 6?
Yeah, I wonder if I respond on that.
What would
if I respond
be?
to that, he's going to say, "Don't ball shot to me."
Coach, you should know this.
No, he's always been a guy that when I worked with him as a coach, he would say, "Coach, I did throwdowns. I'm a bowling all-rounder." He doesn't consider himself as a bowler. He says he's a bowling all-rounder. He bats like Steve Smith, quite rusty, and you just look at his stance, the way he stands, slightly very square, and he backs himself when someone bowls to his pads. To just be a guy that plays slightly risky.
Indeed, he sends Hawken back as he looks at the field again, and Hawken outsmarts him. Outsmarts him with a slower ball and scoops. There's a lot of ice cream being served here by Eastern Storm.
I think he played that shot exactly. I said he loves utilizing his wrist, and he wanted to get one to mid-wicket, but he gets another leading edge.
After
So-
scoring 10 runs, there was no need. Yeah, you could have just tried another single.
Probably a cheeky single from him. And now Easterns loses their 8th wicket. Sitting on 79 in the 14th over. Rasamena departs for 12 runs, 1 maximum and 1 boundary in 8 balls. The next upcoming batsman is Tulang Ngobo. The Eastern Storm has only got 2 wickets in hand. It's going to be interesting now. I think it changes the whole game plan for Datswell to make sure that he plays for the team and he takes it on, or he can just say, I'm just going to get myself a not out. It doesn't matter what the rest of the team does, but it's important for him to ensure that as a captain he backs himself and he takes the Storms closer and closer to that target, because you never know. Only 62 runs, and for someone who can hit a long ball like him, 1 over 30 runs, it can change the whole complexion of the game.
Correct. Psychologically, that would have an impact on the fielding side. And should Lobo be aware, they would rotate strike and have Datswell hog most of the balls, or face most of the balls, and try to see what he can do. As another bowling change takes place, Albani changing ends from the Willow end to the Ikuruli end on the north, having bowled 2 overs, if I'm not mistaken. Having bowled two overs. Yeah, he comes back into the attack, Jesse James. Albani from the Ikurulini end to Datswell. Goes in, bowls down the leg, will definitely be called a wide, and Sizwe Masondo behind the stumps dives to his left and stops what would have been a definite boundary had he missed that ball.
I wonder which length. It's going to be interesting which length he's going to be bowling here, because the first ball I think he was aiming for a Yorker with a mid-on up. Because I would be guessing that you don't want to get hit over your head with mid-on and mid-off up, so you'll be hitting the deck hard, bowling that back of a length, so that he gets hit squarer than straighter.
Yeah, indeed. Both mid-off and mid-on in the circle. So, well, baby, that may just be the ploy. As a mother and child run onto the field, the young man saying, "No, this is where you get quick singles," and the mother getting off her chair and running and grabbing her son, chasing him back onto the grandstand.
I think that's Andrew Russellman's son there. He was running onto the field to show Daddy how to bat better.
Hey, there we go. And his wife saying, no, you're not the right Rasamani. You're not a first-class cricketer yet.
Okay, another change of field now. They bring fine leg up and long on back, which just shows that the bowler is going to bowl straight Yorkers, because every time he's going to bowl full outside of stump. I think Datswell is going to have a full swing with a mid-off up there.
So the aim for Datswell would be to get under the ball and try to clear the field.
See, as I just mentioned,
Yes.
straight Yorkers, ensuring that he doesn't pierce through that mid-off in ring field. But that's good execution from Albani, who makes sure that he gets Datswell off strike, and he gives himself 3 balls to bowl to Tulang Ngobo for him to get the 9th wicket for his team.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, let's see if Nobo can do anything. I got a frog stuck in my throat. So Israel, Tangeni, just give me a sec. Let me just clear my throat quickly. So Israel will take you through the commentary until I return, having cleared my throat.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Templeton. Get that frog off your throat and come back with a better English accent. Okay, Albani just bowled one wide, and I think for him to come over the wickets, he's trying to angle the ball across and to get that outside edge to the guy in the slip region. So it will be interesting on how Ngobo goes about it. Beautiful bowling, good awareness by the Impala fielding team that they know that Tula Ngobo shouldn't be getting an easy single. They're squeezing those dots. Extra cover is so in. Medoff is squeezing in, and backward point, they're very tight on that single. So it will be interesting to see how Ngobo goes about it. Is he going to take the game on? Is he going to start scoring, or he's just going to wait for Datswell to take the bowler on from the next over? Beautiful bowling. Angles the ball across, back of a length, trying to get that nick off or that outside edge. And I think if the Eastern Storms don't go through today, they don't qualify for the semi-finals, and that means the Impala secures their place into the semi-final. And it would be very interesting how the Knights and the Northern Cape hits. I think that would qualify them for the top four into the semi-finals. Okay, a little bit of chip chats here and there. That slip goes back. Beautiful bowling. Good shot ball straight on target to Tula Ngobo to finish the over for Albani, who goes for 18 runs in his 3 overs. Good bowling. Nice way to finish his over. I don't know now. Datswell shot boundary. I don't know who's going to be bowling from the Willow end. It looks like Don Khadebe is going to come back into the attack to finish off the job for the Impala team, who only needs 2 wickets to finish off the game. And the Eastern Storms require 57 runs in the last 6 overs. I think one thing that I'm noticing here is the way the Storms are going about it. It looks like they don't believe that they can still do it, because the only man to take them through is the skipper himself. Let's see how he does in this over. Khadebe being the guy that has been taking most of the wickets as he run through. Very good bowling, but Datswell gets to pierce through the fine leg region, and he gets a boundary on the first ball. Don Khadebe trying to get LBW because Datswell was walking across and he's taking on the short boundary. This is going to be an interesting over, because if Datswell gets a couple of boundaries and it brings that 55 runs required closer and closer, it might bring some panic into the fielding team, and you never know what can happen the next 2-3 overs. So it's going to be interesting what happens the rest of this over.
Indeed. And that said, it's not impossible. 35, 55 is what you require, 35 balls. Datswell clearly has the intention to hit the ball to the short end of the boundary. I see him stepping across his wicket to the offside, trying to hit Khadebe to his leg side, which is where the grass embankment and the short boundary is.
Yeah, I think he missed out there because it was a length ball, and you would definitely make sure you capitalize on it. Again.
Goes across, and quite disappointed with himself. Actually looks down, and Ngobo calls for the run. Every run counts, so whether you connect it or not, take the run.
I think for me, he's trying to hit the ball too hard. He wants to muscle it, because both the deliveries that he received from Khadebe were length balls, but if he just stabilized his head a little bit, he could have connected better. We all know the cliche of stable head gives you proper stable base when you're trying to hit the ball.
Yep.
So it's important to have that. Just one of those basics.
looked like he lost his balance there as well. Oh, what a shot! Is that out?
Starting it off. No ball. The Storms loses their 9th wicket.
From I actually thought that the fielder wouldn't have made it around, and Daz, as Mr. Owa comes to disturb us here from the Hub tournament, coming to chirp us here, having listened to us all morning, all afternoon, Mr. Klangeni, 9 wickets down, 87 runs. They need another 50 odd runs. Is there hope? Would they believe there's hope?
I think the only way for them to get hope is if Dartswell start middling the ball. Because it's one thing to say, yeah, Shane Dartswell can do it, but looking at the way things have been going, he got the boundary of the first ball and missed out on the 2-length balls. So if he was executing those 2 deliveries, then they would have more hope. But sometimes we tend to say a lot of cliches. Yes, Dartswell is a finisher, but now it looks like the wicket is stopping slightly, or he's not able to execute as he would have liked. And Tumelo Simelane, knowing the kind of player that he is, he backs himself to go for the wild swing. I wonder if he's going to be listening to Dartswell if he says 2 balls left. I just need you to occupy the crease,
Yes.
so that I can take it on the next over.
Right.
It's going to be very interesting.
Could Datswell psychologically have been defeated already, not having connected with those balls?
Yeah, I think let's see what happens in the next over, but it all depends on how Simelane survives these last 2 balls. Because we can say Dartswell can believe, but if Simelane gets bowled in the first delivery, it's all over.
Yeah. Limpopo Impalas would have obviously done their work, so they would understand, and Khadebe being tried and tested, tries the first ball short, and he's wide outside Simelane's leg stump, and an extra run is added to the Eastern Storm score. My word, required run rate 9.9, and we did say 10. You don't want the run rate required to be 10 or more. Khadebe comes in, bowls the ball, odd leg stump, and Simelane casually just turns it around the corner for a single 2 deep square.
Okay, with 1 ball remaining in this over, obviously the Impala, they don't want to see Dartswell facing the next over. They would probably coming in to squeeze the dot ball. But now if he takes a single, then it's going to be an interesting over next over. As you can see, extra cover comes in closer just to squeeze in that dot ball of the last delivery.
Let's see if Khadebe bowls full. He does. He bowls full, but slightly too straight, and Datswell achieves his goal of that single and taking a single off the last ball in order to face the next ball. So after 15 overs, Eastern Storm are 90 for 9, whereas Impala, the Limpopo Impalas, were 107 for 3.
I think there's no 2 ways about it. It's either now or never.
So you say go big?
It's either now or never, because 1 wicket, if he gets a single, then Simelane is facing, the chances of them being bowled are very high. But now Dartswell has to ensure that he gets all the boundaries he can in this over. It's now or never, because if he gets a single of the first over, Simelane will say short boundary, left armour. I'm also a left armour, a little bit of ego, and he's going to get himself out.
11 to 11. And Khadise has only got a deep extra cover and long off on the offside. He has a backward point, or rather short third man in the circle, backward point in the circle, cover
Cover point.
point
Yeah.
in the circle, and then inviting Datswell to try hit the ball long on the offside and try clear the boundary on that side. Is he going to loft it? No. Drags it down and a bit quicker.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of fear from Malefa. You don't mind if he goes one big six, but he's just going to be risking his wicket. Although those dot balls also adding pressure to the batsman as well.
Indeed.
Good bowling.
Indeed.
That's a beautiful delivery. Nicely flighted. Back of a length. Good lines. If Datswell takes it on and the ball is turning, it's going to be very interesting. I think he's going to hit it straight up.
Coach, would you be sitting there and saying, but why are you not going after him? Or is Datswell, has he got another plan here?
I think I would be saying the only time he would be going for the bowlers is to the short boundary, because the ball is turning away, and if he takes on cow corner with the wicket spinning, he's going to hit it straight up. There's more chances of him getting dismissed, but on the next over, he must make sure that he connects better.
I would have thought he would have targeted Haudise. It is his last over. It is spinner bowling. Logic says to me, you attack him.
No, but long boundary. Think about it. If he attacks Gaudisa into the long boundary, the risk is very high.
Come straight.
Hit it over extra,
It's over the bowler's head.
but it's turning.
Use your feet and
If-
get to the pitch of the ball.
What happens when the ball turns and you want to hit it over the bowler's head, with a little bit of divots of the surface, it goes straight to long off.
Ah,
So you don't want to risk that. And there's a guy extra cover in the boundary, deep extra cover.
yes.
So that's why he's thinking, let me get one. See, all he's looking to do is get one and face the next over. Short boundary, he can get 6 sixes. Then that brings that equation
Down to
very close.
Ah,
So
yes.
I think it's a good tactic, but one thing that he has to do is execute in this over. Because there's no point of saying, I want to take strike, take on the short boundary, but him also doing what he did the previous over of only getting one boundary and a single. That brought Tula Ngobo to be under pressure, and he tried to hit one straight over the bowler's head, and he got caught.
And Khadise Malifa is allotted 4 overs, costing 13 runs, taking 1 wicket. Good bowling from the orthodox left arm.
Yeah, I think it's good bowling, but I think the bowler set it up for him nicely up front, because when he came into the attack, they were already 4 down, and they were in the rebuilding phase, so there was not a lot of pressure to the bowler or on the bowler for him to ensure that he's not considering a lot of boundaries.
Hawken comes in for his last over from the Willow end, the southern end, as the dark clouds accumulate over there. Pitches the ball full, and as it passes the stumps, rises, and sees Masondo behind the stumps having some difficulty catching it almost shoulder length.
No, I think it was hitting there by the bowler's foot marks.
Right.
So the ball comes slightly different. Some balls might roll, some balls might just pop. So it's a bit of a challenging length to catch the balls from. Wide ball from Hawken, because he knows that Datswell is looking for pace and is looking to target that long on cow corner boundary. And I think the same tactic that Hasbrook had when he was bowling is when he went wide, Hasbrook on the 3rd over, he went for that big beautiful cut, and that put him under pressure to bowl slightly straighter.
So, take on Hawken then. Let's see. Hawken comes in. Datswell goes across the wicket. Hawken pitches it on a length, and Datswell swings and misses. Totally swings and misses.
I think he was going too square for that one. If someone is bowling 6 stump, you can't be going cow corner, because the angle of which the ball is coming to you from is very far to hit that ridge, and should have been aiming to hit over the bowler's head or maybe over extra cover.
Correct. Goes across again, and Hawken outsmarts him, bowls a Yorker on middle stump, and Datswell just manages to keep it out. Oh, pressure's mounting. Still possible though.
Yeah, it is possible, but
21 balls remaining, 49 to win.
yeah, but the most important thing here is, yes, when Gaudisa was bowling the previous over, he said, I'm going to target the short boundary. but 2 overs in a row now, he hasn't hit one shot. He hasn't executed, so the pressure is mounting to him now.
And Hawken goes wide and is called a wide on the offside. The rest of the commentary box are shaking their heads here as we are predicting that it's still possible. Required run rate only 14 runs, but 6 sixes, yes, the mindset changes totally.
I think if he does it, it's going to be him playing out of his skin, because he hasn't middle one ball in the past 5 overs. The last time he hit a beautiful boundary is when he hit Gaudisa past extra cover. See, full toss, misses it, and he takes a gentle jog, and it goes for 1. So it's exactly what I spoke about. It's good to have a plan to say I'm going to take on the short boundary, but it's another thing
To execute. I think psychologically the game is over, so as opposed to losing your wicket, rather stick around is what's going through Datswell's head, because he's faced 29 balls, only scoring 25 off there. Well, let's see if Simelane can surprise us and have something to really post on his social media. Hawken comes in. Simelane gets on the back foot and plays to the short cover boundary.
I think Simelane's game plan is very simple. Block and give the captain responsibility. I think his game plan is clear. Block and give the captain responsibility.
So you would move to his offside and try drop the ball on the onside.
No, he's
'Cause
looking
it's
to block
space
it. He's looking to block it so that good leave, because he's looking to give the captain responsibility.
Last ball bowled by Hawken, and he completes his allocated 4 overs with cheese. Look at his figures. Jeez. 1 for 9 or 4.
Yeah, I think.
Was that no? Wait. Yeah. Sorry. 2 for 19 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 for 19 or 4.
Yeah, no, it's good bowling from the experienced campaigner. Like I mentioned, he's a guy that has been around for ages. It will be interesting to see how Van der Merwe goes about it. I think youngster Hungary is going to go for bumpers or try to bowl out Datswell.
And as he comes in, left arm over the wicket from the Ikuruleni end, his ball directed to third man over there, and Datswell just leaves it. The umpire also turns around and indicates wide ball.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between bowling wide and bowling spray gun. That was a spray gun.
Left arm over the wicket again to Datswell. Datswell gets on the back foot, hooks that for a 4 in backward square.
Yeah, behind square, behind deep
yeah.
square. Yeah, I think one thing that I mentioned, I know youngsters, they're very hungry, very keen, self-belief. He's going to say, I'm going to bounce Datswell out. But execution levels, that ball was stomach height. It's not a bumper, it's just a short ball, just waiting to be hit. So if he gets it up his nose, it's going to be interesting.
As I look at the rest of the commentary box here, 17 balls to go, 42 runs. I still think it's possible.
It is possible.
6 sixes.
It is possible. Henry Klassen yesterday in the IPL, he took it very close.
Yeah.
The equation was similar, but the only thing is he didn't take them over.
Important. If
Yeah.
you're going to commit all the way.
Let's see how this next ball goes. Van der Merwe bowling to Datswell. Beautiful
Inside.
stroke. Inside out, over extra. That ball was waiting to be hit. And I mentioned it. Youngsters, they always have this self-belief. But the execution level is more important. If you look at how Hawken was executing his areas, it's more about execution. So I always say when I coach youngsters, when you're under pressure, 80% effort, 120 execution.
Indeed. And that 6 brings up Eastern Storm 100. They I beg your pardon. They currently 105 for 9.
Interesting. 2 more sixes, sits on 26 runs.
Or 15 balls. Yeah.
Of the last 2 overs.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting.
And I'm sure Datswell, having scored 10 runs off this over, there's got to be some sort of belief, self-belief. And yes, as he pulls that one over the mid-wicket boundary, the crowd goes up in cheer. And so that is 10, that's 16. That's 16 runs off the first 3 balls, am I right?
It brings me
4
to,
balls. Yeah.
It brings me to this song, All
Yeah.
Things Are Possible.
Indeed.
All things are possible.
16 runs or 4 balls. Indeed. So that's all. The longer part of the boundary. There are men out there, but he cleared the mid-wicket boundary for a maximum. Van der Merwe into Datswell again, the 5th ball of the over, and they stroll through for a single. Gentlemen and lady, I'll say it again.
All
13
things
balls
are
remaining.
possible.
13 balls remaining, 29 runs.
No, let's just make it 12 because Simelane, his game plan is clear. You've got captain responsibility. That's what he's going to do here. Front foot block. Pro shop.
Irrespective if it's a pie or not. Yeah.
Even if it's a full toss, if he becomes heroic, the captain's going to say, I had this. Oh, beautiful shot. They should be going for 2. Oh, he decides not to. He decides not to. It would have been a bonus if Simelane hit that ball for a boundary.
Indeed. The ball didn't pitch on the ground.
A little bit of awareness here.
Yes.
Hocken, experienced bowler, is finished.
Right.
Gaudisa is finished. I
Khadebe.
think, is Khadebe finished? I think he's got 1 left. Because I think he's the only man they're going to go to.
Indeed. Well, yeah, 18 overs.
Very, very interesting.
No,
the
Khadebe.
captain's bowls himself. Off spinner, short boundary, onside, spinning the ball into Datswell. It's going to be a very interesting over. So it's either he's going to bowl wide Yorkers, darting it across, but if he misses his lengths, the ball's going to travel.
Change of bowling, as Israel Shangeni has pointed out. Rian Hasbrook brings himself on from the willow end, the southern end, bowling around the wicket to Datswell. Datswell has the short boundary on his leg side. The field that Rian has set for himself, he's got a deep long on, has a deep mid wicket, has
He's just
fine
gonna
leg
dart-
on 45.
Check, Datswell is batting outside of stump. Hasbrook must dart it across. Beautiful bowling by the skipper. See, the plan is clear. Hasbrook is just going to dart it outside off. Datswell is waiting for him to bowl it straight so that he can just hit it over cow corner. But a good start from the skipper. Both skipper versus skipper.
Indeed,
The
indeed,
battle of the Captain Morgans.
indeed, and the former skipper and wicketkeeper standing wide as well, not behind the stumps, but wide on the offside. So yeah, the plan is very clear. Across,
Beautiful.
beautiful,
3 dots in a row.
and straight to him.
But you never know. 3 balls, 3 full tosses. You
3
never
sixes.
know.
Yes, yes. Commentator's curse pending, but here we go. And he goes extremely wide, and it's called a wide.
That changes the whole bowling action. If it's too wide, I must come closer. I might be too close into the ock.
Well, you've heard it from
What
the
did I
coach.
say?
Yeah.
What did I say? That's a massive hit by Shane Datswell, who puts the Eastern Storm's hope very closer for them to stay into this competition, because they need to win for them to qualify for the top 4. Very interesting times. I just mentioned that wide ball changes the whole bowling action. And when you come too close, you come into the bowling arc.
And he certainly did come into the arc there, because Datswell easily just put back to ball, and with the long arm carted it over the willow boundary. And it's actually gone way over the trees on the southern end, and one of the spectators has run across, going down the grass embankment to try find the ball, as the third umpire has come out with a ball bag. I don't think that fielder, he's eager, but he's not too sure exactly where the ball has gone. Third umpire Thomas Mukoros coming out with a bag, as the fielder, one of the Limpopo Impala fielders, goes down in the area, in the vicinity where the ball would have been hit. The two standing umpires come towards the third umpire. The bag is open. They're going to have a look. One of the umpires looking back over his shoulder to see if the ball has been found after being hit that far. So what would that be, about 75 meters?
No, not a chance. That's massive.
Oh yeah?
That's close to 80 plus. Close to 80 plus. Because the pockets here, if you're playing in the middle strip and you clear that boundary,
Yes.
it's about 65 meters.
Right.
And that thing went about 20 more meters over.
And it went high.
So
right.
it's about 80 plus to 90 meters.
Right, so the standing umpires are going back. The player that went across there to go look for the ball seems to have returned empty-handed. He's returning to the field, so yep, I think they've taken the change of ball.
I think one thing that is very vigilant here is Hasbrook is under pressure. Datswell's confidence is lifted slightly.
Indeed.
But now it's not just about that. It's about whoever presses the panic button sooner, the execution levels will be under pressure.
I still say, folks, 8 balls, 22 runs. We've seen 3 massive sixes already hit in the last two overs. Am I right? Oh, and I see the heads are nodding in the commentary box here. So there's a bit of belief in the commentary box. Let's see if the
Datswell's game is
captains...
clear. I'm going long on cow. Full toss 6. Oh.
And Hasbrook wanted to see what Datswell was going to do there. Datswell stood dead still. Let's see what he bowls. Oh!
Beautiful fielding. Saves a maximum. Pulls it back on, which puts the Storms under pressure. It could have been 16 more runs needed in 7 balls, and Datswell gets a single, and it would have made it 15. But now it's going to stay probably at 21 in the last over if he gets through to get a single.
My word. What fielding that was. And he bowls it wide, extra cover fields, and they take no run. Well,
Last
19th
2
over.
balls, 2 dots. Last 2 balls, 2 dots. Simelane, they're gonna squeeze him in, and if he goes heroic, he might lose his wicket, and it's game over.
If he pulls it off, wouldn't that be a match?
Don Khadebe, the leading wicket taker, with his tail up, with a little bit of pressure.
Coming on for the first time in this bowling innings for the Limpopo Impalas, coming on from the northern end, the Ikuruleni end, to Simelane. Yes, the leading wicket taker, as you say. He's already taken 2 wickets in this match, which would have taken him to 13 wickets. Last over, he's only gone for 16 runs in his 3. Let's see if Simelane wants to back himself and get his social media.
Post on. He probably might post that Bedford defense, and he said everything is technically correct. High elbow. High right elbow for Simelane. This is going to be interesting. I think Khadebe is going to go full and straight. If he doesn't execute that, Simelane is just going to look for a single to make sure the skipper finishes on. Imagine if there's a free hit.
With who facing?
With Simelane facing.
he would back himself and says, I'm a match finisher.
All right, everybody else in the commentary box are laughing. But as hopeful as I am, not even I am that hopeful as Khadebe bowls full, down leg, Simelani gets it clipped on his pads, and they are through for that leg bye.
I think Simelana just missed a heroic moment there. Could have flicked it for 4, and he said, my bat is on point.
But the pad was more on point than the bat.
Mr. Slangeni, you got it right. Definitely bowling full and straight. They're bringing fine leg into the circle now, having deep cover on the boundary, which would be the short boundary on the offside as Khadebe comes to bowl.
Yeah.
He sends Harsbrook to the long off boundary. And jeez,
17-4.
that ball pitched outside off. Datswell gets his 50 in 41 balls. And the crowd appreciates, the Eastern Storm supporters appreciate, and all cricket lovers appreciate that the captain is playing a captain's innings.
I think what that does to the batsman, it gives them a lot of confidence to say, I'm on 50 now. The only thing left is for me to finish it off for the team. 4 balls, 17 runs. He needs one or two boundaries in the next 2 balls.
A free hit. All right, so now your scenario early on, free hit is now possible here. Oh, he goes straight, lofted drive in the air, and captain to captain, and the Limpopo Impalas win this match by 17 runs. Yeah, win the match by 17 runs. 2 balls would have been remaining after this. Datswell captain's innings after getting his 50 gets caught. The long off fielder runs in. Rian Harsbrook?
Ruan Harsbrook.
Ruan Harsbrook runs in and takes the catch. Datswell's 52 runs coming off 42 balls, having hit 4 massive sixes and 4 fours in his 56-minute stay. But here's an interesting stat. He faced 23 dot balls. Could that have been the factor?
No, I think those dot balls, it was when he was trying to get himself to bat on the other end. That played a massive factor. But I think the game changer is that 6 where he hit and that guy brought it back. Because if that ball went for 6 and he got a single there, it would have been a whole different ball game. So the massive moment is that fielder there at Cow Corner who saved that maximum and brought the ball back. Because the last 2 deliveries went for dot balls. So it just shows that every now and then, if your bowler bowls a bad ball, you need your fielders to take you through. And that ends the season for the Eastern Storms because they don't qualify for the semi-finals. And it keeps the Limpopo Impalas still top of the log.
So that's 6 wins. No, that is 5 wins on the trot for Limpopo Impalas, having won 4 now, including this match. Of the 5 games they played, there was 1 no result.
Yep.
And we'll calculate the points that they're on. But as you say, Israel Shangeni, they're top of the log, and that affords them the opportunity to qualify or play in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, when I look at the whole table, is if you number 1, I think it gives you a better chance to qualify for the finals because I think number 1 plays number 4 and number 2 plays number 3. So it's a very good way to show that with a little bit of assistance in terms of the coaching staff in the Limpopo change room, a guy like Gordon Parsons, very experienced campaigner in terms of the coaching department. He's just changed the whole culture in the change room with the 2 youngsters being there in the coaching staff, Liv Fataba from Soweto Cricket Club and Kolane Shongwe being the strength and conditioning guy for the team, which has helped them to be top of the log, and that confidence they've been taking from all the other wins, it has taken them through to become victorious while Datswell was trying to finish off the game. Good finish, good way to entertain the fans, and there was some good cricket displayed.
Agreed. Mr. Hlengani, thank you for your time. Thank you for the privilege of having you provide your insights and your coaching knowledge. I think all of us in the commentary box would have picked up a thing or two. Yeah, certainly picked up a thing or two. Everybody nods in the commentary box. It's been a pleasure. It's a pity Eastern Storm will not go through any further. So Willowmoore Park on Wednesday sees the women play in a T20 international on Wednesday, and the groundsman also Khadebe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, comes out with the heavy roller, and he's rolling the middle pitch. Yeah, it's been quite a blast, this CSA T20 challenge. It's been awesome, and Pitch Vision viewers, YouTube subscribers, we trust that you would have enjoyed this, and hopefully I'll get another opportunity of doing commentary with the Honourable Israel Hlengani.
Thank you very much. It's been a privilege as well to work alongside with you, Mr. Brian Charles Lara, aka Gordon Templeton. For me, I think the most important thing here is for the Eastern Storms to ensure that they take this loose and move forward for the next upcoming season. And just for me to wrap up, the commentary is Khadebe, the groundsman, gave Khadebe to get a wicket on his first ball, and Khadebe gets a wicket on his last ball.
Keep it in the family. There we go. Thank you, folks. Thank you, commentary team. I'm not too sure if we're going to see you again, but yeah, it's been a pleasure working with all of you. Up until the next time, goodbye.
Tot ziens.